You all were waiting for it, and now here it is. Teledrama World Tour redone. However, the original idea was that I was just going to use characters who weren't in action, which ended up being not a lot of characters, I'm gonna be real. I decided, I'm gonna go against that and just kind of rewrite World Tour, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and, it's a little cute video that you can watch while eating your food. Oh, that looks good what you're eating there. Can I have some? Now you must smear it on your screen. I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. So as you can see, we have the peanut gallery being Jeff, Beth, Justin, and Trent. And yes, I already have the elimination order, and if you watched my video of Skig's season, you know exactly what type of situation I'm in right now mentally. And so God help us all. God help us all. Anyway, so Ezekiel's going to be thrown out of the plane in Walk Like an Egyptian 1. And then he's going to be put on Team Victory with the rest of them, giving Team Victory a definite advantage in players. However, there isn't too much people care about with that, and Duncan ends up quitting, Ezekiel ends up eliminated in Walk Like an Egyptian 2. One second, hold on. Except Ezekiel isn't eliminated the normal way, because he doesn't lose the stick. Instead, Chris just eats him off the plane because he's sick of having Ezekiel be around. However, he comes back, climbing onto the plane for Super Happy Fun Time Japan, and decides to go on Team Amazon and helps them film the movie while Courtney and Heather and Gwen are all arguing. However, we're going to have Alejandro sabotage Harold's movie just a little bit more. Just make it a little bit more boring, have it make it more self-centered, that sort of thing. Then after that, we've made it to anything you can do, I can do better, where Bridget's pole incident happens, and we're going to make sure that Alejandro still gets his playing other people in here. And in Broadway Baby, we get rid of Katie, because Alejandro decides, I'm going to try to make Katie stay with the baby carriage and hold up her entire team. Then Katie tries to show off by hitting the apple with her head, like Tyler tries to do, and ends up knocking herself out, in which DJ has to try to save her, fails, and LaShawn has to save them both. Obviously, we have Aftermath Bridget over troubled water, and we have Slap Slap Revolution. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, getting all my stuff in order. We have Slap Slap Revolution, where Lashana still gets screwed over by Alejandro. Next we have the Maison race. In that we don't have a elimination. That we have Can't Help Falling in Love, where Lindsay and DJ have to duke it out, and Lindsay ends up getting eliminated. Not duke it out with fists, the fashion show, you know what I mean. Then we have Noof Kids on the block, where Team Amazon doesn't really lose on purpose, but Ezekiel does kiss the fish, but it's too late because Tyler and DJ already completed it, despite Team Amazon doing pretty okay. Okay, wait, hold on, I'm getting the challenge wrong. So, Ezekiel gets Newfoundlanded, and Team Amazon doesn't vote him out, but Chris does, by rigging the votes. Chris is done with Ezekiel. He's like, you shouldn't have been in this in the first place. Ezekiel feels like something is a little bit off, seeming as he's starting to make a lot of friends. He's showing off the fact that he's able to learn languages pretty quickly and learn the social dynamics slowly. But he's pretty chill with most of the people here. Eva starts realizing he's not really that bad a guy. Courtney still hates him. Heather still hates him. Sierra's starting to realize, hey, there's something a little bit different about this guy than the Ezekiel I knew from the blogs. Same thing for Cody, except not same thing, but you get what I mean. And Gwen's kind of like, huh, maybe he's not so bad after all. And then in Jamaica We Sweat, we get rid of Izzy and DJ in the same way. Then we have Aftermath Revenge at the Telethon. Then I See London, where Ezekiel comes back. That's right, my boy's coming back. The boys are back in town, as they say. And due to Ezekiel winning, he is placed on Team Amazon back where he was, and there is no elimination for IC London. Team Amazon is actually kind of focused, and they don't end up finding Duncan because Ezekiel's more human, but he's also done with other people's shit, especially Chris's. But he only agrees to this because he has to in order to try to win the game. And he finds it to be pretty easy for everyone except for Eva. But this time, since Ezekiel's human, he knows that the people who will find the clues should be his first target. Thus, he goes for Noah, the genius. Next we have Grease's Pieces. There's no Duncan kiss, so we don't really have to worry about that. However, in Grease's Pieces, there's a bit of disruption among the team. Dynamics are kind of out of sorts, especially between Heather, Courtney, and Gwen. But Team Chris is really hot, has a little bit of an issue when Sadie sees Heather confronting Alejandro, thus getting her eliminated. Because Alejandro couldn't stand that. And Alejandro talks about how Sadie is kind of a bit of a problem for the team. Then in the X-Files, we have zero elimination. Tyler does not step on the landmine. It's a non-elimination, but Team Amazon still ends up winning, and Team Chris is really, really hot, is happy that there isn't an elimination. Then we have Picnic at Hanging Dork. Gwen is eliminated because Heather convinces Sierra that Gwen is going to be a problem for Cody. So she decides to pair up with Heather and Eva to get rid of Gwen. Next we have Sweet and Sour, where we get rid of Tyler due to being friggin' cannonballed and it does not go well for him. Let's just say that. Who do you want to win? Write it down in the comments. Next we made it to merge, so here are our characters. Okay. So as you can see, we have Owen and Blaineley. We have Cody and Sierra. We have Alejandro and Heather. We have Courtney and Noah, and we have... Actually, you know what? Let's change this up a bit. Let's make it Ezekiel and Courtney, and then let's have Eva carrying Noah. I think that'd be incredibly funny. I do want to see the Noah and Eva dynamic kind of rely down a little bit more. However, they didn't exactly do the best with keeping that going on, and I don't really want to see too much of Courtney and Ezekiel together anymore. She's completely disgusted by him, though, and we will continue this plot point. Ezekiel does not turn feral, by the way. We do not have him turn feral in this one. In Niagara Brawls, Owen is eliminated. Same as canon. We next move on to Chinese Fake Out. Where it is a timed votes because Cody votes for Sierra. And then we have... Here, let me just... So, Blaineley convinces Alejandro that Noah knows about his plans, which Noah does, but Noah's not gonna talk about it. He's not gonna, like, squeal or anything. And then Cody votes for Sierra, obviously. Sierra votes with Noah for Blaineley. Same thing for Heather. And then Eva decides to vote for Noah due to a little bit of a clash they've had, and Ezekiel knows that Noah is a huge threat in the brains department, which means that there is a double elimination here for Chinese Fake Out, but this time it is not between it's not between Courtney and Blaineley, it's between Noah and Blaineley. Next we have African Lion Safari, where they have to hunt down Izzy, and they take out Eva because Eva's anger management issues are getting to be a bit much, as she's getting really stressed out by the competition. And Izzy breaks her MP3 player, which is a huge problem for Eva. Even if she's taking those classes, she saw it happen, and she's not going to take that lightly. Next, we have Courtney eliminated. Courtney is someone that Alejandro and Heather both want gone. Just gone. So, naturally, they're both going to try to get out Courtney, and Cody obliges if they will target Sierra next. However, in Drumheller, Alejandro ends up being the one who is on the chopping block here, after Sierra and Cody figure out that Alejandro is going to be a problem, and Ezekiel votes for Heather. Alejandro votes for Sierra and thinks that Heather is going to as well, which would have made it a sort of tie situation. However, Alejandro was about to get out, but it blows up in Sierra's face. Then we have wine style, where Ezekiel gets no special thing, and Heather and Cody do get special things, thanks to the help of Harold, who's on the team of Cody. We have Blaineley for Heather, who somehow makes it, and we have, or not somehow makes it, and then we have Alejandro. We have who was it? Courtney. And then we have Ezekiel, who Tyler feels kind of bad for it, so he decides to raise his hand for this one. Because everybody likes Cody more than Ezekiel. It's just, you're in this situation. And so Cody flies in the planes, trains, and automobiles thing with Sierra. Heather decides to stow away on a train where Ezekiel's on, and she tries to kick him off, but that fight doesn't really end it very much. Alejandro's on the horseback, that sort of thing. The whole song happens, and Heather makes it first, Ezekiel makes it second, and then Cody and Alejandro tie, thus making them fight it out while both Ezekiel and Heather are tied up. Cody immediately loses it, which leaves us with Heather, Ezekiel, and Alejandro. Ezekiel has to carry the thing by himself. Meanwhile, Heather decides to take Cody's thing because Cody decides to give it to Heather because they've had kind of a nice relationship over the course of the season. Meanwhile, he's kind of meh about Ezekiel, and Ezekiel's just slowly climbing up the mountain, and the whole thing with Heather happens with the whole, Cody cheering her on, telling her that she's the hero. She kicks Alejandro in the balls, thus not giving him an ending whatsoever, and her and Ezekiel both run for the volcano as Ezekiel makes it up there a little bit after Alejandro slides down. They both wrestle over the pineapple thing and is thrown in, and Chris figures out which dummy it was, and that concludes which winner's which. However, the thing still explodes. The money gets destroyed within lava that erupts from the volcano, and Chris drops the briefcase while he's running away, which, because the lava got onto the briefcase, which is a huge problem, naturally, and so he drops the briefcase, which lets it get completely taken over. Alejandro, while walking back up, gets friggin' lava'd. And so does Ezekiel, but not by too much. And then Heather asks about her money because she thinks that Ezekiel got burned when he really didn't get burned too bad. He's just under the water with his little hat or whatever. And we have a bit of a happy ending with both characters being pretty good over the course of the season, and both of them being pretty rootable, because a lot of people, I'm sure, aren't going to be too happy with Ezekiel having this complete makeover of character that isn't actually a complete makeover, because they've displayed completely who this character is. They just choose to not really go by it very much. So both these characters are pretty rootable in this season, with Heather's ending being, of course, more canon. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. So while you're here, make sure to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, that way you can see whenever I upload. And make sure to, I don't know, like the video. I think something pops up when I say that. Like the video. Subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the channel. And make sure to go outside, compliment someone's hair, and make the world a little bit better place. Bye-bye!